Let's find out where she is. There she is. Hello, Mada.
Hi, Tracy Moo.
How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm getting on a plane tomorrow, so I'm super good.
I'm jealous.
Where are you? Are you in Greece or are you in Canada?
I'm in Canada right now, but I will be in Greece in about a month, so I'll see you there.
I will definitely see you there. So let me just tell you a little bit about, I'm talking to the viewing audience right now. Feel free to reach out to Mada. If you have any questions, just pop them down there, and between the two of us, we'll try to catch them. I went to the eye doctor this week, Mada, and I was told that I have 20/20 vision, and I'm not quite sure if I do.
That's amazing.
I know.
Wow.
Right? The glasses. We're testing it.
The things we get impressed of now, 20/20 vision.
Oh my goodness. So, tell me first, okay, so you're in Canada right now, and what we're going to be talking about, one of the things by the end of this show, you look very beautiful, by the way,
so
is,
do you.
can
Can I just say one thing?
You can say whatever you want.
The first time I met you, I was like, oh my God, this woman is so beautiful. And then I was like, she looks like Angelina Jolie. And I was like, I thought I was like so innovative that I thought of it. And everybody was like, yeah, we know. Okay, so it's not just me that
see it. Yeah, I don't see it.
I know you never said you saw it, but the rest of us do. But that's okay, Tracy. I walked behind you. I know how people stare at you.
Angelina Jolie with about 30 extra pounds on her. Okay, that's okay. I'm happy with who I am.
Well, hold on a second. Or what was the other thing they said? You look like Angelina Jolie and Jessica Rabbit.
Yes, that was the one description that I get. Angelina Jolie and Jessica Rabbit. That's a backwards compliment, I think.
It's not at all.
I was just sharing with what I want to do is I want to touch base, and I want to talk about, there have only been so many women who have won the very, very prestigious title of Mrs. Globe, and you when you're on our stage, you win fair and square, and so it's really a win when you become the world winner of Mrs. Globe, because it's really a win for you. So yes, she is gorgeous. Take us back to before the pageant, going into the pageant. Who were you at that time, and share with us, at those moments of doubt or those moments of like, can I do this? What did you hold on to be able to step into the into the win?
Oh my God, that moment. I wish I could go back and just live that second again. It was just one of those beautiful, amazing moments. One of the top moments in my life, I must admit. So before I went into the pageant, like you said, I have 3 beautiful children. God blessed me with 3 beautiful children, and it was between the ages of 30 and 35. I literally felt like I was pregnant, like for 5 years. It was like one pregnancy after the other. So when I was lucky enough, Mr. Papadakis, who was God rest his soul, was the father of pageants in Greece at the time, claimed me as Mrs. Greece and said, you're lucky enough, you get to go to Mrs. Globe to compete. I was like, woohoo, vacation. After 3 kids, I was like, California, this sounds so much fun. Mind you, prior to that, I was like modeling for, between the ages of 20 and 30. So being on stage was something that was really comfortable to me. But between the ages of 30 and 35, like I mentioned, that part of my life had kind of, obviously had died down. I was mainly focused on being pregnant and giving birth and raising children. So one of the things Mr. Papadakis said to me when he was preparing me to go to Greece, to go to Mrs. Globe in Rancho Mirage, California at the time, was he was like, you know, this isn't any ordinary pageant. He goes, this is a very prestigious pageant, and they're not just looking for pretty faces. They need women with, you know, that are dynamic, that have character, that have opinions, that can stand and represent
That have
this
grit.
title. That have, pardon?
Grit. They
Grit.
have grit.
Yeah, I have grit. So I was a little, you know, I was a little skeptical and about myself, about how much I would be able to, you know, represent such a title. So I went in with the attitude that I'm going to live every moment. I'm going to enjoy every moment. He spoke very highly of you and the seminars that you offered during the Mrs. Globe pageant. I was so excited about those, which opened up so many doors and different ideas and seeded a lot of, you know, like new concepts that I hadn't, you know, I hadn't thought of. And you did that. You did that. You really did. And you did that throughout our whole friendship and during my reigning year, of course. So during the pageant, I mean, I was so lucky. I had Mitsu, who gave me like all my gowns.
Great
Designer.
gown designer. Yeah, great.
He's just amazing. And he came right before I went off to Mrs. Globe, and he goes, okay, he goes, this is what you're gonna wear for the bikini, this is what you're gonna wear for, you know, this night and that night. And then like, and I was like, okay. I trusted him. He had impeccable taste, and he understood like my character as well. And also, mind you, that we also wanted to represent Greece. So a lot of the gowns were inspired by Greece and ancient Greeks and that kind of concept. So which I think going into a pageant, that's a little stressful, thinking about every day what you're going to wear and how you're going to, you know, represent yourself in your country. I was blessed enough where, you know, we had a plan going in, and at least during the time while I was at the pageant, it wasn't something I had to contemplate like that day tonight, where, you know, we have culture night. So I knew what I was going to wear. The Globe Awards, I knew what I was going to wear. I knew my makeup. So I was organized as far as that part was concerned.
Well, you know what they say is luck is when preparation and opportunity meet, and that right there shows that the formula still exists.
Oh, yes. Yes, I mean, I totally agree with you. It's so important to go into these kind of situations prepared. I also, you know, besides being prepared as far as like my gowns were concerned, my makeup and my jewelry were concerned, I talked a lot to myself, kind of like, okay, Mada, you're going in there, and to be honest, like the first day I walked in, I was like, oh my God, these women are all so beautiful, and they're so dynamic and so confident, and I was, you know, it's a little overwhelming going in to one of these types of pageants, because these are world winners. Like, these are the most beautiful women of, you know, from all over the world. And, you know, I thought, okay, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy every moment. I'm going to be as authentic as I can be, to be myself and to be open. So, and wherever I can, to be helpful. So I remember during rehearsals, I tried to be helpful. I tried to, you know, give some ideas wherever I could. With Kenny, when we were doing some of the shootings, like, you know, I was trying, from my knowledge from being a model and doing some productions as well. I was like, you know, I wanted to be helpful. And I think, you know, in life in general, when you try to think outside yourself, you know, other things get taken care of on their own. So I met some wonderful women during the pageant, and so I met Dolores as well, which I adore, and Rumi, and all these beautiful dynamic women, and I just enjoyed every moment. But I remember specifically when I was in the top 5, and they started calling like the names, like, you know, I can't remember my top 5, to be honest. Miss Ukraine and Miss North America, Miss Philippines was there, Miss USA. So when they started calling, by the time it came to like the top 3, I was like, okay, it's time for me to go. I was like, okay, we're done here. I remember specifically when you were about to call, like, you know, the 3rd runner up, I was like ready to take my step forward. I was like, this is not happening. I was like so shocked. And then when my name didn't get called and it came down to me in Miss Philippines, I was like, this is incredible. I just couldn't believe it. My little girl was in the in the audience as well, and then my name was called, and it was just the most amazing feeling ever. And I'm so grateful. I was so lucky and blessed, and I am so grateful every day. And I love my crown. My crown is
You
here.
have the original crown.
Yeah.
You have the replacement crown, and that's the original crown. That it's fun because a lot of our viewing audience doesn't know that we had two crowns. We only know for the one that we have, but that's our original crown, and that style is obsolete, never to be recreated again. And we just felt that, the reason that we took it away is that somebody did copy it and made it into a children's pageant crown, and I about passed out because that crown was designed for us by Swarovski, and it was a showpiece, and then somebody copied it, but that's what happens, I guess, when you're good. And then now this is our new crown that we recreated, and isn't that beautiful? This is our new crown that we designed after a real Turkish princess's crown, our queen's crown. I was inspired by that, and so our designers got to work, and we recreated that and put on our signature head chain, which, did you hear what we're doing with our head chain on our 25th anniversary?
I did.
It's going to be
So
simulated
exciting.
diamonds. I know. And you know what? I know that Svetlana is watching right now. Hi, Sveti, wherever you are. I saw you scroll up. But I've been asked by several of the former winners here, do we get to get a simulated diamond? And I'm like, yeah, but I want to make these beautiful cases that you can have on display, just the diamond with kind of like the embedded crown in the background, so that when these crowns tarnish, which someday they will, because though they are Swarovski crystals, they're metal. But it's going to be super amazing, and we'll be debuting it hopefully soon. COVID put a stall on things, and our designer, who is actually in New York, put a stall on it. But I got a sample piece, and it's like you want to eat it. It's so amazing.
Yummy. It's yummy.
Keep it forever. Well,
one thing I want to commend you on is that, as a past winner, I mean, you keep us all very close, and we have a family. We have a family of the Mrs. Globe sisterhood, and we keep in touch, and we have our group chat, and we we encourage each other, and that all comes down to you inspire all this, and you keep us close to the Mrs. Globe family, and you gave us the new crowns, and you keep us. You keep inviting us every year to participate, and it's like a family. So like when you win Mrs. Globe, I think you also win a family. So like when we go to the pageants, and we're or we're not at the Mrs. Globe, but we're watching, and we're like, okay, who's our new sister? Who's our new sister?
Isn't that exciting?
Family.
Yeah, I'm a connector. I'm a healer, and I'm a connector, and it was one of the things that I really wanted to be as a part of our brand for the added experience. And one of the reasons why I think it's so important is that you go through, and those of you who are watching are be like, oh, pageants, they're so silly. You don't know what it goes into, the training that it goes into getting your heels on the world stage. You go through a lot, that you have to have your family support, you have to get sponsors, you got to get your body in shape, your mind in shape. You have to be at the very top of your game. It's kind of like the Olympics of pageantry, right? And so when you experience that, and you're basically sequestered with 50 to 100 of your same tribe members for 10 days, you experience something very real together. And I remember leaving pageants in my past and being like, that's it? I mean, because you get so close to the women while you're there, because you're literally, they have to become your source of support, et cetera, et cetera. And then it was over, and I thought, no, it can't be that way, because there's so many great women coming through pageantry that we need to be able to create that connection. And so that's why I created the Globe Alumni, and that's why I do work so hard at keeping everybody connected as much as possible.
Yes, and we're grateful for that. Thank you.
So when you were Mrs. Globe, you had a very successful year. We opened the Win Foundation in Greece, healed a lot of beautiful lives, and you were one of our most successful Mrs. Globes with what you did with the title, from getting some amazing covers of magazines, getting a ton of press at the time, doing the outreach for the Win Foundation. Um,
And the traveling we did together, that was so much fun.
when we went to Ghana.
We went to yes, and we spoke to I think it was an elementary school, and you spoke, and then you gave me the opportunity also to speak to these young women and inspire them. And I mean, it was just such a beautiful experience the whole year. I remember I also went to Serbia on behalf of Mrs. Globe and the Win Foundation, and spoke at the Miss Serbia competition there. And just, I had such a wonderful year. It was just more than just being a pageant, that, a crown. It was like so much more about healing and inspiring women, and starting women on a journey. And for me, that was the beginning of a journey as well. So yeah, it was a great year.
It was a great year, and after the year was over, Mada and I stayed connected, and we got ourselves into some wonderful predicaments. And my mother always says that, you have two types of children: those who can get themselves in predicaments and you worry about, and those who get themselves in predicaments and know how to get themselves out. Well, we were always able to get ourselves out together. And but for those of you who are not familiar with Mada, I know something unique and special about each of my Globe winners, and I want to share two right now, and then I want to talk about the glitch that you and I went through, and how healing life can be, because one of the things we're talking about at the Divine this year is how do you make up for lost time. And so the road that we traveled together is actually one of the tools that you can use to make up for lost time. So the very first thing that I want to share is, I know that, I'm seeing so many comments about people saying, she's so beautiful, she's so beautiful, she's so beautiful. And will you share your upside down beauty secret?
Oh, my my handstands?
Yeah. I love the way you say that. You're Greek, and you say it with such a Canadian accent.
Oh, okay. Well, like, I discovered doing handstands from my little girl, and she was like, you can't be unhappy when you do handstands. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing it too. So I do handstands every day, just to basically, it changes my mood, and it puts like a lot of circulation towards the blood, which is, helps with your hormones, and with, fighting depression or other, emotions that you might go through. It helps a little bit with my posture, because I've always had, like, I don't know if you say this.
Really? Like, really? Moving on.
So I've always had a problem with keeping my shoulders back.
Okay.
So I read that handstands help keep your shoulders back. So I do handstands every day. If I get stressed, I'll do a handstand. If I want to think, like, I like to meditate a lot as well. Like, I try to.
It's the best.
It is. And I'm kind of upset with myself that I didn't discover meditation earlier in life.
Me too.
I think it's like prayer. Prayer is like me talking to God, and I think meditation is God talking to me. So that's the way I see it.
Just shut up and listen, right?
Exactly.
I kind of had, my whole life I kind of had a rendition, because one thing that I do is I take really long showers. Because when I'm in the shower, I just think, and I get creative downloads from what I call my great divine wisdom. And when I come out, I feel like all refreshed, not just physically, but like my mind. So I guess in a sense, I'd been meditating for a long time, but I just didn't have the actual name and tool behind it. But yeah, it's something that I wish I would have really been clear and on target. For all of you who need a great stress reliever, or hear insight from the other side, or from the great divine, it's the best. It's absolutely the best.
It is.
So yeah, when you're upside down, how long do you stay there?
I don't stay long, like 5 to 10 seconds, and then I try to do 2 or 3 of them, and like 2 or 3 handstands in the morning, and 2 or 3 handstands like during the day. I mean, I exercise throughout the day. I mean, I think I do that also with my food. Like, I graze. That's what I do, and then I graze exercising really? As well. That's how I do everything in my life. I graze. Like I'll like, like if I'm cooking something and I'm waiting for the pot to boil, like I'll sit down, I'll do like, 15 push-ups, or like I'll do a plank, or like I'll do some squats, or like I'll do things like throughout the day. And then, obviously I'll get on the treadmill at least 3-4 times out of the week, so I could, get myself in my cardio. I think the older I get, it stops being about what I look like, and it's more about how it makes me feel. And, getting closer to the age of 50, I just feel that need to be healthier on the inside as much as I can. So I try to be careful what I eat. I've been a vegetarian now for the past 2 years, and, dabbling. I think it's called being a raunchy vegan sometimes. I try, but and that's all for my little girl. My little girl has, like, I think Lucia, because Lucia is the youngest, I think she grew up, she was like literally a year old, and she grew up through me, discovering myself and searching and soul searching, and my personal journey of healing through abusive behaviors that I had in my past life, my past relationships, and then also being a bit abusive to my own self, and not really knowing how to self-love. And one of the tools that you taught me through your programs and being a friend to you was, like, the ability to forgive ourselves, to forgive myself for the hurt I have caused, with the hurt that I accepted. And Lucia is a child of Mrs. Glow. I guess, because she's so empowering, and she's so dynamic, and she's so about equal rights, and about women's rights, and about standing up, and being a vegetarian, and animal rights, and she inspires me, actually.
I want to point something out. You keep referring to Lucia as your little girl. She's your youngest daughter, but how exactly little is she?
She's 5'10". She's 14 and she's 5'10".
Yeah, exactly. So, like, your little girl. What? Oh, your youngest daughter.
My
youngest daughter.
I'm sorry. Yes.
I want to talk about something a little bit more serious, and you actually just touched upon it. And that was what a lot of people don't know, is that that Mada and I were literally sisters in our past life, and that's the beautiful close relationship that we gained. And then there was a glitch that happened, and we weren't a part of each other's lives for many years. And I'm going to be talking about the importance of how do you make up for lost time, because a lot of people get stuck in life because they wake up out of the fog, and sometimes they look at the destruction in their past, the destroyed people in their past, the lost years of their life. Either they were in dysfunction, or they were living their life according to somebody else's standards. And I don't think that there is a single human being who doesn't have that moment where you say, I'm not living in my be, I'm not living the life that I want, I'm compromising myself, even 20%, and some people 100%, and we all have that along the journey. Well, let me just give you a really quick history as to the space that Mada held in my heart for years. So it was, I think, in 2007, 2008, because you were 2006, so it had to be probably in 2008, that I got a bad medical diagnosis of dang breast cancer, right? And I was, for whatever reason, was in surgery, and I was supposed to leave for Belgium, and I was supposed to pop over to for the Wind Foundation in Greece. And I called Mada from Belgium, and I said to her, I'm sorry, I can't come. And she said, why? And I said, because I got to Belgium and I literally collapsed. And the day that I knew that, I always knew that you liked me, and I always knew that we could laugh about life in a very unique and special way. But the day that I really knew that you loved me was, she said to me, no, come to Greece and let me take care of you. And I literally, she called me back in an hour, and she's like, here's your flight, you're coming over. I got on the plane, I flew in, she picked me up at the airport and put me to bed. and for 10 days basically helped me get my strength back and took care of me and helped nurse me back. And I will never forget that that wonderful act of love, because love, it also has actions behind it. So fast forward, life happens, or shall I say lessons happen, and we had a glitch, and then there was this person that was like one of the most amazing people in my life, gone. She's gone. And fast forward several years, 5 years or something of that nature. 7, something like that.
Was it? I don't think it was 7. I think it was less than 7. I think it was like 5. Yeah.
5. And so, you know, of course, when you lose somebody that you love so much, you always feel that there's kind of that void there. And then you go like, oh my God, did I waste my time on that person? How many of you look at your life and you had somebody that you love and you wasted your time on them? Or, you know, why did I have to go through that? And you see these breaks in our life as just missing out on time and losing time. And what I want to circle back around to is one of the ways that you can make up for lost time is to forgive. Is to forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know. Is to forgive another person for their actions, because maybe they didn't know what they didn't know, and maybe it wasn't personal. That's a big one. Maybe it wasn't personal. Maybe it was just part of their journey, and maybe what happened in the overall plan of your life was all not about life after you, but instead about the lesson that we need to step into a greater definition of self. And I considered it a privilege to be able to experience something so painful and yet be on the same path of catching up for lost time, because our first phone call after not talking, I'm crying. Our first phone call after not talking, it was so gentle. It was just time, the lost time, the feelings that go with that. What happened? Why did I do this? All those negative emotions. When you just make a space for, maybe it wasn't personal, maybe it was part of your lesson, maybe forgiveness can be found on both sides, and you come together and you make up for that lost time. And so for all of you who are listening, you're looking at 2 women who walked that journey, and through love, remembering the good parts of history, not the bad parts of history.
So many good memories.
Yeah, making that space for maybe it wasn't personal. Forgiving yourself,
and taking. I think as far as like our relationship was concerned, was I had to become accountable for my actions as well, and ask for forgiveness for and to you, of course, but also to myself for the actions that I took, and for the reasons behind them. And moving forward from that is just making a living amends with you, and just, you know, not making it about me or making it about the painful loss of those 5 years, and you know, like me personally, like I'm at that place in my time when I look back into those years, those from 2006 to 2012, as I was so, you know, we had so much fun and so much laughter and so much, and tears and pain and sorrow and growth and so many things that, you know, I you know, as a sister, you stood by me, and I tried my best to stand by you as well.
You did.
And then something happened, and like you said, like when we reconnected, you know, I had to become accountable also for my own actions. Like, it's easy to turn around and say, you did this, and you did that, and you said this, and I put, you know, because like that serves nobody, that serves nothing. It's just
that's taking it personal.
Yeah.
That's taking it personal. And when you learn maybe it wasn't personal, maybe
it wasn't personal. It had nothing, and a lot of it had a lot of it, I think, didn't have a lot to do with me or you, but just situations like this. But
Yeah.
then, but you know, I mean, I still look at you and Tracy Moo. That's Tracy Moo.
Yeah, and I just, you know what, I'm gonna do a call out to people. I know that we've gone over the time, but I think that we have a good discussion right now. That I just really feel that and we have a lot of women who are watching, and even a lot of men who are watching right now. And if you've had a fallout from a friendship or a sister from a past life, you know, make space for that. You know, maybe you're watching this only to be able to reconsider that you know, because something comes to an end doesn't mean it's the end. It means it's the end of a cycle. And if the love, you know what I learned, and I'm going to be teaching this at the Divine, is, you know, when a dream is to come to an end, Mada, when it's simply done. You rest it down, you look at it, you go, that was such a beautiful thing, a season that happened. But if that dream is still tugging at your heart, and that person, you're still missing that person, there's dynamics that didn't, there was a story left untold. And I think that's one of the feelings of it's not meant to be over yet, because you have that feeling that there's a story left untold. I want to really quickly, because I know we're going over, but I want to talk about where you are now, the amazing inspiration that you are now as a woman, mentor, personal, emotional coach, and whatnot. Anything you want to share along that, and where do you grab, probably what are you holding on to right now that is one of the greatest self-love tools that you would like to share with other women out there? And I just have to say, it's
Wow.
gotten really quiet on the nobody's talking out there. Okay, go ahead.
Well, right now I'm living in Canada. Obviously, my heart and my soul, and I know you shared this emotion, is like when I'm in Greece, my soul does cartwheels. Like it's just
Or handstands.
both,
Sorry.
both. But right now I'm in Canada because my husband has a job here, and we're both Canadian to begin with. So I guess that's a little backstory as well, that both me and George are Canadian, and of course Greek, but we lived in Greece for 22 years, and then we decided that it was best for our family to come back to Canada. So I'm here in Canada now, and going through COVID, the lockdown, but still parallel, like doing as much work as we can in Greece, and in healing women and inspiring women and assisting women that are in abusive relationships. Um, I do that parallel to living on Canadian time. So like half the time I'm on Greek time, the other half I'm on Canadian time, raising my three children. And obviously now they're older. Seed is 18 and Johnny's 16 and Lukia's 14. And just being a mom, trying to be present, something that I think is really, really important with my children, to be there, to listen to them, to guide them, to help them. Because there's a lot of tools that I didn't have growing up, and I have been blessed through, my journey, starting from Mrs. Globe, through all the experience, through the programs that you've offered and taught me, and going on forward through other programs that I've, tried to find to enrich myself. I've gained a lot of tools, and I'm trying to pass those down to my daughters and my son. And that's a full-time job, and I spend a lot of time being present with my children. I run volleyball programs as well, so like life brought that out of nowhere for the past 3-4 years, and I love the sport, so it's exciting to me to be able to participate and make money from it as well. So it's like it's something that I love to do, and then also make money from
No,
it.
it's
Exciting.
it's so important to monetize your dream, and that way you get to live your dream. There's a concept.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
So,
and sorry. Oh, and no, and basically, like, I spend a lot of time in Greece. I go back and forth as much and as often as I can. And I'll be there this summer, so I'm really happy about it, because like you mentioned, like COVID is really, it's really, really a safe place to be right now. Hopefully it'll stay that way. And so I'm looking forward to, me and the girls are going to go and enjoying some sunsets and swimming and
soul food, and you
nice
still
to,
look great
yeah.
in a bikini, I must say. You always
Oh,
have, and you still do. She's such an inspiration when it comes to that. So, Mother, as
thank
we
you so
bring
much.
this show to a close, and I hope that all of you are enjoying it. Let us hear a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's conversation. Why don't you, where you are in your life right now, what is the one self-love tool that you would impart as we bring this show to a close?
Forgiveness. I mean, I think for me personally, um, I can be really hard on myself and I can seriously like sit in the past and blame myself and be hard on myself, and that serves no purpose. That serves nobody in my life right now. It doesn't serve the people I love. So I think forgiveness is the biggest tool that I grab to, because in moments of silence I do have like that snake in the back of my head that says really nasty things to me about myself, and that
Old
negative.
programming dies hard.
Exactly. And it takes a lot to turn around and tell that snake to just be quiet and to focus on on what's going on now and today and from here forth. And I think forgiveness is the biggest self-love tool I have for myself right now.
Yeah, that's so important. Yeah, all of you who are out there, take a deep breath. And I learned a great saying once that was really, really empowering for me is when I was being very, very hard on myself, which was always in my past. Now I'm like you, I dabble less and less, but it was a day that I learned, um, Tracy, is there room for the concept that you were doing the best that you can with the only tools that you had? And when I was able to look at my life actions, realizing, well, I was kind of toolless. I didn't have any tools to be able to do it different. And is it correct to beat the emotional crap out of somebody who was really just doing what they could with the tools that they had? And so that's why I'm so committed to getting tools in my life, sharing tools, and that's what our programs um, are all about over at Dr. Tracy.Campbell. So for those of you, Mada has a really fun social media following, so make sure you swing over to her page and follow
Thank
her,
you.
Madamu, which means my Mada and my Tracy. I love you very much.
I
It's
love you
been
too.
such a great time spending this here with you, and I look forward to stay safe, you and your family during COVID, and I look
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing you next month when you get to Greece, because I'll still be there.
Yes, thank you so much for the interview. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate it. Thank you, Tracy.
I
And thank you
appreciate
to
you.
the Mrs. Globe family.
All right. Lots of love to you. And hi, Rihanna. I saw you just go by. Rihanna Moy, or Mrs. Globe 2014, 15, just scrolled by really quickly. Love you guys all. Have a good
Thank you.
Monday. Thanks.
Bye.